Hello, I am Ben. This is the Salomon Aeroblaze 3. But is it any good? Before we even begin to talk about this shoe, we must note that Salomon are, and still continue to be, top tier. God tier when it comes to trail running. You've got the Speedcross, an iconic shoe. S-Lab bits, absolutely fantastic. Even that great barometer of quality, the Celebrity, loves a Salomon shoe. But their road offering hasn't been fantastic, but things could be changing. The Aeroblaze 3 is a great shoe. Shock and awe around the world as I reveal this great truth. But it is a really fun shoe. First of all, some stats. It has an 8mm drop, it's a 40mm stack at the heel and a 32 at the front. You can see it's got a very generous rocker to it, and that is part of what makes this shoe so good. It is a dual foam, it's an EVA and a PIBA foam in the midsole. This is the root of all the fun in this shoe, and I want to call this a fun shoe. Salomon say it's a do-it-all shoe, and that's kind of down to you and your running, but what this shoe is fun. It feels really energetic and lively to run in. The rocker is a key component to that. This shape here, where it curves down from the heel to the toe like this. This is key to how this shoe behaves. On a slow, steady run, you get this nice big wedge of midsole underneath the heel and the midsole in the mid of the foot. And that really cushions the shoe, makes it feel nice and comfortable. But when you want to start moving, the speed work comes in, that sort of stuff. This generous move onto the toe means the shoe feels lively, it wants to pick up, and you can get going. So, this is just one of the small things that makes this shoe so good. I think the main thing, talking about the fit of the shoe, you can't have a fun shoe if it's all wibbly wobbly, it doesn't fit so great. So what Salomon have done is they've built up the outside of the shoe here with some foam, and on the insole, the instep too. And what this does is this creates a really nice, where the biggest wedge of this foam is at the back, the heel sits on top of it and feels really locked in. And what that does is it creates a nice secure fitting shoe, which is perfect for any sort of running. But it just gives a bit of confidence to the shoe. So when you put it on and you start moving around and that foam's feeling all lively, the shoe fits really nicely. It gives you more confidence to get going. The sort of combination of the bulk of this very lively foam plus the fit of the upper, especially around the heel, that's what starts to unite the shoe, what makes it feel very, very lively, as I said 3 times now, fun, progressive, all of the things that you want from a shoe that can do it all. As I say, in terms of doing it all, that is really down to you and your running, but I've taken it out and done a plethora of different efforts with the shoe, some quite long, slow bits. Took it down a track one day and it was surprisingly nimble and fast there. It really is a shoe that can deliver on pretty much all fronts. You could train for a marathon in it, I reckon. That 40mm stack at the back is generous. An 8mm drop is quite up onto the toes, and the rocker equally makes the foot feel like it's slightly more forward. So if you are a bit more of a heel striker, the shoe might be a bit unbalanced for you, but that rocker shape, that natural progression through the gait cycle, even if you are a heel striker, the shoe can cope with it. A bit more on the fit from Salomon, kind of notoriously narrow, especially with the S-Lab versions of shoes. And you can see on this shoe there is quite a taper towards the toe. It's actually not as bad as some previous shoes. I've got sort of normal / wide-ish shoes, and I actually found these, I'm a UK 12 in a Salomon, and these fit true to size, and actually the toe box was accommodated my hefty foot with ease. Some other Salomon shoes in the past haven't, and that's often been the issue with some of their road shoes. Sort of, I guess, the mountain goat that have formed the basis of a lot of the other shoes had tiny little thin feet, whereas I do not, and that was always a problem with these shoes, but not with this shoe. The fit's is pretty good. Slight taper at the toe, so if you have got like a very bulbous front of the foot, I'm not being mean, but if your foot is slightly bulbous at the front, then you might struggle with the fit on this shoe. But apart from that, very nice fit. The tongue has got some padding to it, so there's real comfort across the top of the foot. It really is a highly accommodating and versatile shoe. Onto the outsole. You might have seen that Salomon launched a gravel shoe. So anyone who's struggling to run on that bit of tarmac that becomes loose stones, there's a shoe for you. This is the road version, but it still has this nice contra grip center pad that sits in the middle of the shoe. So you've got the rubber wraps around the outsole, and then this middle pad here. Now, Some shoes probably would have done away with that. You could have had a nice little sort of filler bit, or to save some weight, you could have got rid of it. Having this nice little gripper pad in the middle actually means that the front of the foot feels very stable, feels very level. The grip's great. You get that nice sort of firm but reassuring foot placement off the toe is what helps with this shoe feeling lively on the road. Even if you do stumble accidentally upon some gravel, it would still be absolutely fine. Salomon is a trail brand. It's not really one for the trails, but I did like this little additional pad of rubber on the inside of the outsole, just to add a bit more confidence off the front of the shoe. The fit on the upper, very breathable. The upper very breathable. Flat laces, so you don't have any hot spots. It's a very light shoe. A lot of that comes down to the foam and the upper. They've blended that really nicely. For a big shoe, aids this feeling of it feeling like a shoe that can do it all. A big shoe like this, if it felt heavy, you wouldn't be so inclined to want to take it fast, but you can with this because of the way that they've reduced weight throughout the shoe. Let's talk about the design, the style of the shoe. Now, celebrities have been picking up the Salomon shoes. Some of the other brands, the names of the shoes I can't remember, but Rihanna's worn them. Other famous people exist and have worn them too. And there's like certain models that are XT6 and all the other ones that they do. And they're all sort of very, very good and have lots of different colorways and things like that. But as a running shoe, I've got the white ones with a bit of yellow on them. Now, a white running shoe is always going to be a bit of an issue. Go through a puddle, your shoe's slightly ruined, but I don't mind that, and I think that there are other colorways and styles that in this model that you can get which will suit everyone else. Again, I think the aesthetic of it is perfect. It kind of it looks quite refined. I'd say that the outsole slightly polystyrene-y looking. Oh, you freaks. The look and the design of the shoe is quite neat, and I think that they've done a great job of building a good-looking, simple shoe. The biggest surprise out of all of this as well is it is only £125. Should you buy this shoe? Well, it might feel like a bit of a gamble. Salomon's perhaps not a brand that you've chosen for a road shoe, and that's fair enough. I think their trail offering has always been the attraction for most runners. But I do think this is definitely worth the gamble if you're looking for a shoe that you want to use most days. I mean, Salomon say this is a sort of 2 to 3 day a week kind of running shoe. I easily think you could do most of your running in it if you wanted to. We haven't done enough miles in it to know how quickly it breaks down, if it loses some of that liveliness after 100 or so miles. I don't think it would. Most shoes these days are pretty good at keeping their shape and their form throughout their whole life. I'd probably say that the wear on the toe box might be the first thing that goes rather than any of the other stuff. Perhaps unconsidered is the Salomon road shoes, and for good reason in the past, but if this is an indication of what's to come from the brand, then I think that the road offering could be getting better and better. So if you are looking for a fast shoe, a cushion shoe, a shoe to do it all, and you're on a bit of a budget, then I'd say £125 for this shoe. It should be there, top end of your list of shoes that you want to get in the mix for your next training effort.